have some news for you. There are some unspoken, completely underrated skills that are so important to grow your career in a corporate environment. As someone who has grown into an executive leader at a multi-billion-dollar organization, let me share with you 5 of the most underrated skills that are required to help you grow so that you don't keep just like running on a hamster wheel waiting for that next promotion. Hi, I'm Ali Phillips. I'm a corporate leader, a toddler mum, a content creator, and I run a career accelerator program, Sage, which helps women thrive in their 9 to 5. I teach everything that I wish I knew 10 years ago, including things like protecting my boundaries, how to manage stakeholders, how to communicate so leadership hears me, and also how to manage imposter syndrome. First things first, I cannot stress this one enough. The type of person that I want on my team is simply the person who just gets things done. I cannot tell you, most leaders, I guarantee you this is the same for yours, one of their biggest pet peeves is having to ask for something twice or having to chase up on something multiple times. Some of the most valuable people on the team are simply the reliable ones who just follow through. And it's not just about following through on the work that you've been given, right? And it's not just about doing the work that you've been allocated, but it's also don't be the person who just constantly finds problems and then does nothing about them or just constantly comes to the table with problems. You want to be the person who, yep, identify a problem, but then bring a solution and then better yet, proactively act on that solution. Don't be the person who says things like, we can't do that, it's too expensive, or we can't use that, tech won't let us. Find a cheaper option or find an alternative or work with tech to find a different solution. Be the person who gets things done. Be the person who follows through. Be the person who finds solutions and be the person who acts on them. They are the type of people that you want on your team. And this can be for both project work, but also just culturally what you're seeing in an organization. And I'll give you a recent example of mine. When I returned to work after maternity leave, I knew I needed like a community of mums around me. And I noticed that that didn't exist. And so instead of waiting for someone else to build that, or instead of complaining and saying, hey, this doesn't exist, why doesn't this exist? I just created one. I found all the new mums and I created a group and now we have a monthly connection. And it was that easy. But that's an example of where I've identified a problem, I found a solution, I acted on it, and I just did it. So be the person who gets things done. Here's one that so many people get wrong. I see so many people feel like in order to be good at their job, they have to know everything. They have to know all the answers. And like they really, really shudder at the thought of saying, I don't know to any answer of a question. And particularly women, we're pretty bad at this. It's sort of like we tie our worth to the amount that we know, or we feel like we're not good at our jobs if we don't know everything. But actually, here's the truth. You don't know everything and you're not always right. One of the key skills that is required to thrive in corporate is to be teachable. You want to approach work with an open mindset. You want to approach other people with an open mindset. You will never know everything, not in this day and age. Everything is changing so quickly all around us. So just constantly be teachable and be open-minded. And I want you to think about this in 3 ways. Think about it with the teams that you work with, think about it as in the people that you work with, and think about it as in just yourself as well. So in terms of the teams, be teachable in the way of leaning in with curiosity. You don't know what their world is like. You don't know what their work is like. Go into every situation knowing that you have something to learn from them and just be open-minded, because I guarantee you will have better working relationships if you do so. And then with people, just people in general, if you went into every interaction with someone else with a thought in your mind of, oh, I wonder what this person can teach me, or this person knows something much better than I do, I can't wait to figure out what that is. If you went into every situation like that or every interaction like that, you're going to show up as a much more positive, a much more open person, and you yourself, you're going to benefit because you're going to learn. And then the third one, continue to be open to learn about yourself and to continue to develop yourself. You want to be the person who is constantly striving to improve and constantly building new skills, because that only adds value to an organization. So be teachable because you don't know everything. Here's one that just no one thinks about. Be the person that everyone else wants to work with. Why? Because when you're the type of person that other people enjoy working with, they're more likely to do you favors. And when you get more favors thrown your way, it's actually easier to get work done. Like, If I put it this way, imagine working with someone who is really negative, pretty grumpy, doesn't follow through, doesn't answer questions when you send them an email or a Slack, doesn't do their work on time when they say they would. Like they're just hard to work with. Versus someone who shows up with a smile, who always has their work done, who follows through, who communicates with you in a really responsive manner, who you can rely on. Like just be the person that people want to work with, because not only will you get more done through your own outputs, but you'll get more done through other people as well, because people will genuinely want to help you out. So what does that look like? Simple things, like simple, just really courteous things, if I'm completely honest, but simple things like responding to people in a timely manner. Don't let Slacks and emails be left unanswered for days or even weeks. It's actually just so rude. It's so, so rude. I remember I used to work with a CEO who had a promise. Every email or Slack that was addressed to him, he would respond. It was usually like max 48 hours, but he would always respond. So if a CEO can do that, you can do it too. There is no excuse to just ignoring people. It's just rude. So be the person who responds in a timely manner. It doesn't have to be immediately, but just don't let it leave unanswered days on end. Another very easy way to be an easy person to work with is just be positive. Be the type of person who enters a room with a smile. Be the type of person who compliments your team members around you. Be the type of person who, when you're kind of working through problem solving, you're thinking, how can we do this instead of we can't? Like you want positive people around you. So just be that positive person. And another very easy way to be an easy person to work with is to celebrate others. If you genuinely celebrate others and say, hey, that was fantastic work, great job. If you give praise to others when it's really deserved, people will find you really easy to work with and just a joy to work with. So be that person. Challenge the status quo. So many people lean on legacy. Just because things were done in a certain way in the past does not mean that they are the best way or the most effective way or the most productive way to do things. You do not have to lean, nor should you lean on legacy. The reality is we're all different people. We all bring different experiences. We all bring different expertise, and the world is changing around us. Like every day there is a new app that is launched that can change the way that we work. So we have to approach our jobs in a way of recognizing the way that they were once done is not always the best way in which they could be done in the future. If you can upgrade your role, do it. Be the type of person who strives to leave their role better than how they found it. And you can do this in a number of ways, right? It can be small and it can be big, but it could be as small as, let's say you take over a weekly report that someone else used to write and you've taken over the role. They send a weekly email report out. You think that it could be written in a better way. You think that, I don't know, some charts might be able to be improved, or you think that you could add in an infographic. Just do it. Like, don't lean on legacy. Just because it's been done in a certain way doesn't mean it has to continue to be done that way. Other things could be as simple as offering to run a team meeting in a different way, or bringing in a different way of like planning the work. You could bring in a different process or a different tool to use into the team. There will be things, there will be problems that you will identify, or better ways or better processes. Like bring them in. You have the permission to do so. And if you strive to make your job better than when you found it, your boss will be so, so, so thankful for it. Now, some people just don't think about this one. When you're part of an organization, you are part of an organization. You need to be part of the team. So the last one is lean into the culture. The people who are invaluable to a team are the ones who make it a fun place to be. They're the people who are thinking about other team members. They're the people who want to make it inclusive and make it just a really fun environment to be part of. And leaders want these people on their teams because they want their teams to be the place that other people gravitate towards. So if you're the type of person who leans into culture and who builds a really good culture, you're going to be very, very valuable. So what does this mean? When there are like company events, like lean in. Like if there's a company hack day or a development day or just company events, like, lean in, go to the hack, be part of the development days, wear the t-shirts with the slogans on them, like just be part of the team. And there's other things you can do as well, like lean into building team culture within your specific team. You can be the person who organizes the events or who runs the activities in the team meetings that do actually build connection. Offer to do those things because they do have such a big impact. But there is a hot tip I have on this one. Some people make the mistake of leaning into this first before nailing their job, and then they're spending all of their time trying to build culture, but they're forgetting about their actual work. Don't do that. You have to nail your job first, and then you can build the culture in the team and really lean into the culture of the organization. So why did I share these with you? Well, honestly, these are the traits that I look for in my team. Why? Because they're harder to teach. They genuinely are harder to teach. It is easier to teach technical skills. It is easier to teach like functional skills, but it's harder to teach these. So now that you know them, lean into them, like build some self-awareness about whether you're actually showcasing them. Because if you embody these, you will be more valuable to your team. And so just lean into these as much as you possibly can. Now, thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, subscribe to this channel for more. And if you are the type of person who wants to grow their career, start with this mini series here where I take you through 6 different practical tips to help you up level at work.